What is your soul whispering to you? And are you listening? Oftentimes, there's so much noise around us that we don't take the time to listen to what the soul is saying that we need. This human experience can be heavy sometimes. Life itself can be heavy sometimes. And so it is so important that you provide yourself with a sacred solitude to listen to what your soul is saying. When we think of the word solitude, oftentimes we equate that with loneliness or isolation. And it's more than that. Sacred solitude, it's not about just being alone, but it's a deliberate act of turning inward. It's about creating space for the whispers of God in you to be heard above the noise and distractions. Sacred solitude is distinctively different from loneliness. Loneliness is a painful, unwanted state of isolation, a yearning for a connection with another individual. And so sacred solitude, on the other hand, is a chosen state. It's an active engagement with yourself. It's a sanctuary where we can intentionally build our inner selves, a space where we can quiet the external noise and the constant pulls of life. So think of it as tending to your inner garden. And so if you're constantly busy engaging with others, planting seeds, harvesting, and pouring into others, when do you ever tend to your own inner garden? Sacred solitude gives you the space to tend to your own inner garden. It allows you to pull the weeds of self-doubt and nourish the soil of your spirit. Or simply just sit and appreciate the unique bloom of your own being. Sacred solitude offers you that time and space. So it's in these moments of chosen loneliness that we can truly hear ourselves think. It allows us to truly feel and tune in to where we are at that moment. It allows us to realign ourselves when we are out of alignment. We are able to process emotions without external influences. We're able to gain clarity in life's choices and situations that come about. It's a way to where we can creatively spark the intuition within us and allow that intuition, the God in us, to be louder than the outer distractions. And where we're able to deeply sense self-awareness and allow it to take root. It's where we can connect with our core values, our true values, and then reevaluate our priorities. And again, realign ourselves so that we're moving through life with the right purpose, in the right purpose, on purpose. One of the most powerful aspects of sacred solitude is its ability to foster resilience. When we learn to be comfortable and even thrive in our own company, we become very powerful beings. And not that we aren't already, but it allows for you to tap into the power even more and having a clearer understanding of what our power truly is. We become less dependent on external validations, less dependent upon needing others to cheerlead us, right? And so you should be your biggest cheerleader and support system. Sacred solitude helps develop this inner strength, especially if you've gone through and experienced a lot of trauma. Sacred solitude is a place of sacred healing. And it gives you that space to heal and then to mend yourself. Sacred solitude becomes this core sense of knowing yourself, because you're giving yourself space in that quiet time to build yourself from within. And then you're able to weather the storms of life's challenges much better, and to maneuver through life a lot lighter, a lot softer. We learn to be our own best friend. At least I can say that I have in sacred solitude. And then you're able to navigate through life, navigate through challenges, navigate through those external chaoses more efficiently and effectively. Sacred solitude is a concept that actually transcends just the physical isolation. It's a deliberate and conscious choice to be alone. And I'll say that again. It's a deliberate and conscious choice to be alone, not as a state of loneliness, but as a practice for personal growth and spiritual connection. When you think about it from the perspective of it being a deliberate choice, it's not the solitude that's forced upon you. And sometimes sacred solitude is forced upon you because you're not listening to what your soul and your spirit is saying. So you're forced into solitude so that you can realign. But when it's a deliberate choice, when it's a conscious choice, it becomes more comfortable because you're understanding that it's necessary. And then it's also a state of being. So sacred solitude is literally a state of mind where you are at peace with being alone. It's about finding comfort and even joy in your own company without the need of external validation. You become your best friend and so in love with who you are. It's a pathway or a path to spiritual growth. So, in many spiritual traditions, Sacred solitude is a fundamental practice. It's seen as a way to connect more deeply with a higher power, with yourself, with the divine. So all of that is housed within you, right? So sacred solitude allows for you to tap into the divine, the God in you, that higher power within you, where you become one with yourself. And then the human experience, like, it just becomes a lot easier to manage. And that's so important because the human experience itself is not always easy. So if you can take the human experience, you use the sacred solitude as a way to lighten the human experience. Sacred solitude is a tool for self-evaluation and self-reflection. By removing distractions, sacred solitude provides an opportunity for this deeper interconnectivity. It allows you to listen to your inner voice, the spiritual ear. So we have the physical ear, right? But we also have the spiritual ear to hear a lot clearer what the God in us is saying. It allows you to listen to the inner voice and then to process the emotions that the human side of us has and experiences. And then you're able to gain clarity on your life's purpose and direction. It's important that you have clarity for yourself, for your life, for this human experience. It's important so that, again, you can navigate through life a lot lighter, definitely more simply, right? Because life itself sometimes can be complicated. But it becomes even more complicated when you don't have clarity, when you're not clear on who you are. Sacred solitude also provides this place of nourishment and nourishing the soul. So it allows time for you to regenerate and renew your soul. Just as the body needs rest, the soul needs time to be still and quiet. And so sacred solitude is a way to recharge and return to the world itself and engage with others from a more centered place. So, how do we cultivate sacred solitude? How do you do that when the demands of the world, the demands of life constantly will pull at you? How do you cultivate sacred solitude? How are you able to center yourself? Well, you could do it literally by just adding it to your daily ritual or daily routine. Meaning, if you need to wake up earlier to allow yourself time and space for that sacred solitude, then you can do that. You can start with 15 minutes, 30 minutes. Some people need more time. As for me, I love waking up before the world begins to move about around me, because it gives me that time to become one with myself and center myself before I have to engage with anyone else. Another way is I love walking in nature. So taking walks in nature without any music playing, without having earbuds in my ears. I'm just able to listen to the nature or nature around me and become one with it. That is another beautiful way of sacred solitude. Some people use their creativeness to provide that space of sacred solitude. So if you write, and so I write in my journal daily. That's also a way of sacred solitude for me. Maybe for you, it's playing music, jazz, classical, something to bring you into that oneness of yourself. Or it could be maybe a musical instrument that you play. And now what you'll do is you'll give yourself more time to play that instrument without any distractions. Maybe it's pottery. Whatever your creativeness is. Some people enjoy cooking without the distractions of other people around, and that's their way of becoming one with their self. You find what makes sense for you. It could even be creative movements, yoga, stretching, so that you're able to be one with yourself and your body. Maybe mindful moments, turning off the notifications on your cell phone, or maybe leaving your cell phone in another room, closing the door. If you work from home, maybe closing the door to the office, leaving all of your electronics in that room and closing the door and going to another space where it's quiet so that you're able to give yourself those moments alone with nothing there to distract you. Maybe it's reading a book that helps for you to reconnect with yourself. Or it can just be simply sitting in silence. Possibly you may need to go to the mountains, or maybe your place is the ocean. But intentionally giving yourself sacred solitude is important. And then keeping this intentionality as priority. It's about constantly and consciously choosing to create boundaries around your time and your attention. Prioritizing this is essential. It's vital. And it should become a practice for your entire well-being. Because at the end of the day, it is you plus you. It will always equal you. You are the common denominator in your life. So it's about recognizing that these moments of quiet are not a luxury. It's necessary. So as you get to this place of understanding what sacred solitude is, I want you to explore it. I want you to understand the importance of it, because in a world that often measures our worth by constantly doing, productivity, being busy all the time, it's important that you embrace sacred solitude. As a matter of fact, self-love and self-preservation should be your main goal. You can't constantly give and give and give to others, because eventually you won't have anything to give to yourself or to anyone else. So sacred solitude allows for you to honor yourself and to pour and fill yourself up. You have to nourish and nurture yourself. so that when you do engage with others, you are engaging as your full self and able to give from the abundance of yourself. And so I want to leave you with this thought. As you go about your day, I want you to ponder this question. What might your soul be trying to tell you? And if you just gave it the quiet space to speak, what would it say? Understanding that sacred solitude is important. And you deserve sacred solitude. You are a sacred being, God having a human experience. And so the soul needs time to sit, to be quiet, to be still. Are you willing to allow yourself sacred solitude? I am your host, Markia, and this is You Plus You podcast. And until next week, be blessed.